sir. It's chilly out there. We're starting to get into some cool mornings, cool nights, a little bit warmer days. Welcome to The Ordinary Effect. I'm your host, Guido Perino. Back for another dose of The Ordinary Effect, of course, where we talk about things that maybe sometimes they're untalkable or people don't talk very much about them, but we think about them. Sometimes, you're walking through your day and you're thinking, why is that happening? Why is this happening this way? Is this normal? Is this reasonable? That's been my consistent thing lately. Reasonability. Can we find reasonability in the things that people do and the decisions that they make and their behavior? Is there reasonability? And one of those things in the scope of reasonability that I've been dealing with for the last long while, but maybe especially the last little while, is service. The reasonability of service, whether it's in-home service or at the store service or wherever you may be in a service position where you are trying to consume services. I overall find it quite challenging at times to get good service. And then you wonder, well, what is good service? And I think good service for me is, am I getting value for my money? Am I getting the service that I'm expecting to get for the money that I'm willing to give for that service? And I just find that lately the answer has been consistently no, I'm not. I approach some of these transactions with hope, with great hope, because, you look at reviews and you look at the different companies and I walk away thinking, all right, there's some hope, there's some potential here. We've had a few things done around the house, and one of the things is I needed a new patio door. It's about 20 years old. The seals are broken. It's not worth filling with the gas and all that sort of stuff. And so I had been shopping around. And one of the companies that came to do an assessment, an in-home assessment, the fellow shows up and I show him the door and he looks at it and he sits down and then he says to me, "So, tell me, what am I doing here?" And I'm thinking, what do you mean, what are you doing here? I must have given him a puzzled look. And I said, well, you're here to tell me how much a door would cost. And he says, right, but what am I doing here? Now I'm really baffled. I'm thinking, I need a price for a door. How much is the door going to cost? Anyways, he started off with some conversation, but the conversation was that of a. He was trying to go deeper into how badly I needed the door and what would I have done if he hadn't come, sort of thing. And I'm like, look, buddy, it's a patio door. You probably have different colors, different features with locks. How much is it? Right? That's bottom line. But he started off as well with a pitch around, well, if you sign today, and I'm like, you haven't even showed me a product and you're asking me to sign today. So automatically, my friend, pressure sales, not interested. You're not going to get a sale today. When you start off that way with me, you're not getting a sale. Because I understand the tactic. Well, you get to save 27%. Well, interestingly, that 27% in the conversation that took far much longer than what I wanted, eventually landed at something like 47%. His price went from $13,000 to, I don't remember now, $8,000. Needless to say, we didn't end up going with that particular individual. It was very awkward. And I tend to lean more on, look, are we going to have a transparent and honest relationship? And maybe you're a couple of dollars more than the other fellow, but can I trust you? Will that extra couple of dollars equate to you being there when I need you to be and not just focusing on your earnings of a couple extra dollars on this transaction? So, another big part of it that I've noticed is the follow through, right? After we meet, telling me you're going to send me a quote with the detailed information so that I have comfort in making the decisions that I'm going to make. And I find that some of these companies struggle with that follow through, especially if they're unsure that you're going to go with them. If I can sense that. If you're a company listening out there, I can sense that, right? If you're kind of like, well, I don't know if I really want to give this guy a quote because I don't really know if he's going to buy something from me. But at that point, you've already lost the sale because I can already sense you've got, no follow through and no commitment. And if you don't have follow through and commitment before I buy the product, that is a really good indicator that you may not have follow through and commitment if I need you after I buy the product. Another thing, and this goes with some of the ones that I have decided to go with, and it's scheduling. It's really interesting, the whole scheduling thing. I had one company tell me, hey, this service is going to cost you, and I'm making this number up, $5,000. And we can, install it on a Wednesday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. But it can cost you $4,000 if you just go on a waiting list and we call you whenever we have a team available, and we'll just show up and do it on whatever given day. So they're offering me $1,000 discount to just basically be on call, so that if they have a cancellation or something goes on, they can come whenever they want to come. Interesting concept if you have the ability to do that. But if you're in an urgent need for a particular service, that may not quite be suitable for you. But I always find the scheduling interesting because it always goes between that. Well, we might show up 8 and 5 p.m. Can you give me morning or afternoon? Well, we really don't know. It really depends on how the crew goes and other work. And it just makes me feel like, am I a priority? If I'm giving you this money, right, for this service, am I a priority? Are you scheduling me like you want to be here and do the work? Value for money. So I go back and I say, look, how do I pick? When you're dealing with all these things, how do I pick? And I really do go back to the relationship, being able to establish transparency and trust. And that doesn't always mean you're going to get the best price, but you might get the best result and the best support when you need that support, right? I have one sales guy for a service that we ordered. I can contact him anytime. He responds very quickly. He always has follow through. We established a relationship. One of the places where I bought a car, same thing. We've built a relationship even outside of the business transaction, got to know each other. We understand what the needs are, for the service and the product. So there is opportunity there, but I'm just finding the majority of the companies that I'm dealing with, boy, do they ever make it hard for you to want to spend money with them, because they're really just I know they have to be focused on the bottom line, but when you do that and you come across desperate that way, it doesn't make for a good business relationship. And I think as a business, you want to have, you want people to say good things about your business. You want to have repeat customers, and you want to have good referrals, not fake reviews, good referrals. Anyways, that's the ordinary effect topic for now. Bundle up a little bit because it is fall and we have those colder mornings and colder nights. Looking forward to talking to you again. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe. Take care.